Guys, stop doing sit-ups. You have to. Yo, what's going on, guys? Timothy here from Collegiate Aesthetics. Thank you for tuning in. To those of you who are new to this channel, a big welcome to y'all. This channel is all about finding a balance between life and fitness. So if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, yet still be able to enjoy life and eat your delicious foods, your social life, all of that good stuff. And if you want to eat foods like pancakes, burgers, or even go on a Friday night with the boys, yet still remain aesthetic. Aesthetics. Or you're struggling with finding time for training and nutrition, going to the gym because you have a 9-to-5 job, or in my case, as a third-year college student who has plenty of work on his hands, then you have come to the right channel because I'll be showing you guys how it can be all done. So smash the subscribe button down below and turn on the notifications bell. Okay, so a lot of my friends lately have been asking me the same questions. Hey Tim, how do I shred belly fat? What's the best diet out there? How much should I eat? What should I eat? So to answer all of your questions, I decided to make this video and to show you the facts based on science in this Fat Loss 101 series. And for today in this episode, we'll be tackling the ever-demanding question, how to shred belly fat the right way. Now please stick till the end of the video because I promise you guys this is not clickbait, okay? And I'll be summarizing everything you need to know about losing body fat so you can feel and look bueno. And also I can accumulate 4,000 watch hours on YouTube. Now first disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I don't have a doctor's in nutrition, nor do I have a master's in kinesiology. But I do know a thing or two about fat loss given that I've transformed from this to this and this to this in the start of my first 2 years in the fitness journey. And of course, a lot of people who look decent have no idea what the hell they're talking about, especially in the fitness industry. So I suggest you guys better cross-check your own information, look up the right studies, listen to well-informed YouTubers like Greg Doucette, Jeff Nippard, Vitruvian Physique, like I did when I started out, because they're right about 95% of the time. But if you want the absolute correct information, just subscribe below and listen to me because I'm right 100% of the time. Okay, so you might have tried losing fat from time to time and again, but perhaps you're misinformed or you're just a dummy. But I promise you guys, once you listen to what I have to say, you're gonna change from a dummy to a ripped dummy. So let's get right into it. Okay, so there are two key misconceptions about fat loss that I want you guys to know about by the end of this video. And so we don't waste time listening to useless advice or go buy and waste money on fat burners that Uncle Jerry thinks works for him. Also, I'm just gonna say this right now to be transparent, and it's that there's no fast way into losing body fat or belly fat. I am very tired of listening to fitness influencers saying that you can shred 10 pounds of body fat in just 2 weeks' time by doing sit-ups. I mean, think about it. If it was that easy, wouldn't everybody be walking around with a six-pack? And so that's why I'm making this video, to clear out all the common misconceptions about fat loss and dieting so that you guys can lose the love handles the right way. First misconception, simply eating whole foods or healthy foods will not help you lose weight or body fat. People, you have to be in a caloric deficit, which means you can eat all the healthy foods that you want, maybe replace butter, margarine with, olive oil. But as long as you're in a caloric surplus, it doesn't matter. You won't be able to lose fat, but in fact be gaining weight if you're in a caloric surplus. You have to move around more to expend more calories than you consume. Mathematically speaking, and in relation to the laws of thermodynamics, calories in minus calories out has to be of negative value in order for you to lose body fat. When a person eats at a caloric maintenance, he or she will keep or remain at similar body weight. And if you eat at a caloric deficit, you will lose weight. And vice versa, if you eat at a caloric surplus, you will gain weight. With this said, eating healthy foods is not the reason for fat loss. You can eat calorically dense whole foods like avocados and nuts and still gain fat, not because those foods themselves make you fat, but because those foods tend not to be high volume foods and do not have a very satiating effect, which means that after you eat a handful of nuts, which has probably 500 calories, it won't fill you up. It won't fill up your stomach because it's so low and so small in volume. What you want to do is eat voluminous foods that are high in fiber and protein that will fill you up. Your veggies and your fruits. Avoid high-calorie, dense foods, like avocados, for example. And hence, eating those foods tend to bring you into a surplus. I'm not suggesting you to cut out nuts or avocados out of your diet, but I know a lot of you are fans of, the avocado Instagrammable toast in fancy cafes or restaurants. But just be aware of the calories in the foods that you consume and be mindful that at the end of the day, it's calories in versus calories out that matters and results in fat loss. Okay, before you're coming down in the comment section below, "Hey Tim, you're an idiot! I tried counting calories but it didn't work. We all have different metabolisms. I have a thyroid problem and it's genetics. Blah 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 blah." No. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, tall or short, fat or skinny, a triangle, or if you're white, black, yellow, or blue, red. It all comes down to one factor only. And applies to everyone and not just you. Be in a caloric deficit, you will lose weight. You cannot defy the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. Okay, misconception numero dos. You cannot do spot reduction for fat loss. It drives me nuts, completely nuts, when I see fitness influencers saying that you can do sit-ups, preach their 2-week shred ab workout, and the general public eats it up because it seems like the easiest thing to do. Then 2 weeks have passed and then you barely see any abs if you're above 20% body fat for a guy or 30% body fat for a girl. Then you end up losing motivation and giving up. Look, a lot of people in today's society are looking for the easy way out and to put in the least effort to achieve the greatest results. And a lot of people are unwilling to hear the truth because the truth is always hard to hear and it's hard to accept it. I hope you guys realize that and recognize that a lot of these influencers are giving out BS information just to gain a ton of following because the general public will eat it up and choose to take the easy way, but then in the end not get these results. And I find that kind of disturbing and also very disappointing. I just want you guys to identify the facts from the myths and the truth behind how this body fat losing process works. I'm gonna be honest, I was one of those dummies who thought that doing 1,000 ab crunches or 100 reps of sit-ups every day is gonna build my abs and help me shred belly fat. I thought it was gonna target this sort of area and gonna lose all that fat and I'm gonna look shredded, ripped, all that good stuff and show the six-pack underneath. But no, that's not how it works. I understand how the concept seems logical on the surface, but you guys have to understand that fat loss and muscle building are completely different. They're not the same processes. And I also understand the reason behind this myth is because if you want to grow your biceps, you're gonna do a ton of bicep curls. If you want to grow your triceps, you want to do tricep extensions. But that's just not the case for fat loss. When you're doing ab crunches, it exercises your abdominal muscles and promotes, muscle breakdown at first. And given the nutrition and let's say if you intake enough protein, you get enough sleep, all of that good stuff, it goes through a protein synthesis phase and then it helps build muscle in your ab area. But it burns so little calories that it's insufficient for creating a caloric deficit in order to result in fat loss. So yes, you will get abs, but you won't be able to reveal it. Since we're talking about this, if you're just trying to get leaner or striving for a more V-taper physique with a thinner waist, training your obliques probably is not the best choice here. Because what's going to happen is that you'll have an overdeveloped waist considering your initial layer of body fat is still covering your obliques. So instead of looking like a reverse triangle, you might look more like a rectangle. Nothing wrong with being a rectangle, you can be a circle if you want, but if you're watching my channel, it's very likely you want to be aesthetic. And you need to lose that layer of body fat. This layer of body fat. Shredded. No. You're gonna lose this layer of body fat in order to be able to see it. Guys, stop doing sit-ups. You have to create a caloric deficit via exercise or a diet. The best way to creating a caloric deficit by exercise is cardio. So maybe hop on the treadmill, go on an incline, even going for a grocery haul or running errands is gonna burn you more calories than if you're doing sit-ups at home, because you're only exercising this region instead of exercising your whole body for using more energy. Maybe it seems more tiring just to exercise your abs, but that's just a very inefficient way of expending your calories. So hop on a treadmill, do some lifts or hit cardio, ride a bike, go for a swim, go on a hike, whatever it is, just stop doing sit-ups. And don't think you can target where your body loses fat. This may come as a surprise, but it's actually your genetics that determine where body fat is distributed and where most excess body fat is stored. So for example, two guys with the same height, same weight, and same body fat percentage will have different body fat distribution in their bodies. One may have more fat stored in their belly, in their midsection, while the other has more fat stored in their glutes or legs, And the same applies to when you're losing fat too. It's also your genetics that dictate where and which body part loses fat first. When you enter a caloric deficit, you cannot choose to target your belly to lose that fat first. For example, for me right now, I'm going on a 10-week diet, 10-week cut right now, and around 5 weeks in, I've shed around 6 pounds on average, 6 to 7 pounds. You'll see that I've mostly lost fat on my face, my midsection, and a little bit on my back. My legs still retain most of the excess body fat, but when I cut, that's always the part that stores most of my subcutaneous fat. I'm gonna be explaining more about subcutaneous fat and visceral fat in the future videos. So back when I was 15, I explicitly looked up information on how to lose arm fat. I went on YouTube and looked for the information, and so I swung my arms back and forth vigorously for 10 minutes for a month. I want to get like jacked arms, super big biceps. Back then I didn't even know that triceps were bigger than biceps. Anyway, luckily I came across scientifically backed nutritional and training advice, and now I wish to pass those on to you guys. Science! So if you want to lose belly fat, just get into a caloric deficit, no matter if it's via training or diet. Nutrition, if you don't like the word diet. And eventually you'll lose those love handles once you get leaner as you diet down. Okay, so what did you guys learn so far in this video? 1. Get into a caloric deficit if you want to lose body fat. If you're not losing weight, simply eat less. If you're still not losing weight, guess what? Eat even less. Or if not, move more. It only takes small tweaks here and there in your daily life to get into a caloric deficit, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator in malls or shopping malls, metro stations, or even have a cup of black coffee, or guess what? I just finished a cup of water. Because sometimes you're feeling thirsty instead of hungry, and you just wouldn't intake so much food that you don't need. It's actually 4:30 p.m. right now, since I've been recording for some time now, and all I've had so far today is a protein bar because I'm not even feeling hungry at all. after drinking so many cups of water, and you don't even realize how much it helps. So, have a cup of black coffee and a homemade turkey, bacon, and egg toast for breakfast instead of a hot chocolate with a regular bacon and egg cheese bagel, which has over 3.5 times the calories of the previous selection. The key is to find a diet that you can adhere to, that you enjoy, and these small tweaks are more doable than you can imagine. If you simply took the advice that I just gave you for breakfast, you're saving 500 calories in just one meal.
A quick voiceover. It has been shown in various studies and reviews that coffee suppresses calorie intake due to caffeine. In the randomized controlled trial done by Gabrielli et al. Investigated the effects of different amounts of coffee on dietary intake and appetite between normal weight and overweight individuals. There were 33 individuals in the trial, of whom 16 were of normal body weight, the other 17 were overweight or obese individuals, so around a 50-50 split. The results show that those who consumed a higher caffeine concentration, especially those of overweight individuals, has a reduced energy intake for the ad libitum meal compared to those who consumed either a lower caffeine content or just water. So, the conclusion to this is that a moderate coffee consumption can in fact effectively reduce the energy intake of the subsequent meal for overweight individuals. But don't be dumb and drink 5 cups of coffee per day. Okay, now back to talking about calories.
If we quantify this, you would want to seek to eat roughly 300 to 500 calories lower than your maintenance level to create this deficit, because 1 pound of body fat equals to roughly around 3,500 calories. So in order for you to lose 1 pound of body fat per week, you need to have a 500 calorie deficit each day for a week in order to lose it. Because 500 times 7 equals 3,500 for your non-Asians out there. 2. You've also learned that by doing those ab exercises at home, it won't help you lose fat. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but even if you're doing intense cardio sessions every single day for an hour, if you're not adhering to a proper caloric deficit, you will not have any results regarding fat loss. Okay, so I tried to condense this video and made it relatively digestible to you guys, and I know that some of this information is pretty basic for some of you, but I want this to be, digestible to those of you who want to just take the first steps into fat loss. If you want to look slightly better, whatever your goals are, maybe to look just a little bit leaner. But I sure as hell did not know any of this before I was 16, so I hope you guys can take in this information and use it to your own good. I'll be diving into a more mathematical side of things, and I'll be giving you a step-by-step regarding how to calculate your maintenance calories and how to properly set up your diet so that you can systematically lose fat in the next video. So please be sure to stay tuned and check that out as well. I can go into so much more detail, but this video is getting kind of long, so I decided to cut it here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and for those of you who have gotten this far, please be sure to leave a thumbs up so that it does something to the YouTube algorithm and I can get more views. Also, be sure to comment down in the comment section down below and to let me know if you want a more numerical, scientific approach to how I explain things, the processes, everything. And if you want longer videos or shorter videos, just let me know down below. To Aesthetics,